Evening, everybody. Welcome to today's panel discussion. We are going to be talking about the pros and the cons of a spring admit. We are very fortunate that we have one alum who graduated in 2016, who was a spring admit, who's here to talk to us, Aisha Hassan. We also have a current student, Chirag Renoji, who started in the spring as well and had the fortune or the misfortune of having just one semester at USC before COVID hit. So he's actually seen the worst of it, and he will tell you what his experiences are in terms of the things that worry you guys the most. We also have Divangna Katuria here. She also works for USC like I do, and she will be, many of you would have reached out to her already, and she will be helping all of you answer many of the questions as well. There's Divangna now. And I'm Sudha Kumar. I work for USC Viterbi from India. I worked for USC for my entire adult life, and that too within the School of Engineering. So I do have a lot of experience with USC. Much of it was in Los Angeles, but about 15 years ago, I moved back to Bangalore, so I'm currently in Bangalore. So yes, what the plan I have is first we will have the alums introduce themselves. And then we can ask them some of the questions that all of you have submitted to us already via the registration portal. And we will talk about the spring admit and what are the implications for you. And then towards the end, we will do a PowerPoint presentation on what are your deadlines, what are your options, and then take some more questions if you would like at that point. Many of you would have attended the event yesterday, and there were a lot of questions about what your options were and whether they could be a change. What you have before you is an option to start in person for the fall of 21. Now, it may be difficult for you to get there, but that option is there before you if you can make it. If you cannot, then the other option that you have is to take 1 or 2 classes online from India and either start a little later at USC if you choose to, but I think so right now the deadline is September 10th, no later than that, but preferably before that. If that is not something that you can do and you wish to do, then the other option before you is to either request an update of your application to spring 22 or to fall 22. You know, I know many of you are unhappy with this options, but those are the options given to you by the university, and you have to choose between what you do have. All right, so let me start today's event with having Aisha talk to us a little bit about herself. Aisha, want to tell us about where you came from in India, what your college was, what you studied at USC, when did you start?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. So I'm Aisha, and I come from Bangalore. So I was born and raised there. I did my schooling in Bangalore, and then I went to PESIT, which is PES University now, and I graduated in 2014 with my bachelor's in information science. And in my, I think, 7th semester is when I started applying for universities. And by the end of my 8th semester, I got an admit to USC for the spring batch. So for me, it was deciding what I can do for like one semester where I was going to be in India. And thankfully, I had an internship which I continued with till I came to USC. And in USC, I started in the spring of 15 and I graduated in December 2016. And by the time I graduated, I had done an internship, I had done a co-op, and then I got a job at the same company that I did all of this in. You're on mute, ma'am. You're on mute, ma'am.
Sudha, you're on mute.
Right. Chirag, you want to go next and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good morning from here. Maybe it's good evening there for you guys. My name is Chirag Banerjee. I am a current student at University of Southern California pursuing my master's in computer engineering department, specializing in computer architecture and real SI. A bit about my history. I am also from Bangalore. I went to the same university as well, to PS Institute of Technology back then. Now it's called, of course, it's PS University right now. So I pursued my bachelor's in telecommunication engineering back. I'm a graduate in 2016 batch. So after that, I moved on and pursued another master's. But yeah, then here finally I landed in spring of 2020. As I said, I'm in master's in computer engineering. Right now I'm in my final semester. I'll be graduating this December 2020. Currently, I'm at Apple right now, doing my internship. Yeah, that's a bit about me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chirag. So the first question is for Aisha, and the title of today's panel is Pros and Cons. So we can tell you a lot of the pros, but let's start with the cons. Aisha, you want to go first? I guess you were given the option of only joining in the spring of the year the spring semester, and I'm sure you must have had a lot of thoughts about and doubts. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what the cons are.
Sure. So I think going back when I applied for fall, I had admits from different universities for the fall semesters, and then the only university I had an admit for spring was USC. And because I thought, because I wanted to go to USC, I was like, okay, I will come in there. But the cons that I faced were, what am I going to do for 6 months? Because from graduation till I come here in December, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I could continue with my internship, and then there were research opportunities that I could look into. So there were just different options I was considering. And I think the other question was, where would I stay? Because generally the theory is that when fall students come in, they sign a lease and then they stay. Like, where does a spring admit stay when they come into USC? And then I learned about subleasing and how you actually have space, and like these were all doubts that I had. And the other part was the internship part. I knew I would have to do something in the spring semester, which is not an internship. So when I came to USC, I realized that you can actually do research with professors or you can do an on-campus job. And I had all those options, but I chose to go back to India and spend time with family. But that entire I think for me, it was the good part was it gave me a chance to prepare for what was up there, because that was the first time I was coming out of the country, and I had the chance to settle down and like experience everything.
Thank you, Aisha. So Chirag, what are the cons according to you?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, the major con I think everyone talks about is the internship, right? So because everyone is like, yes, as soon because everyone knows the summer is the way to get into internships and then convert into full time and all of that. Yes, I see a question as well. Is it to get the internship and all of that stuff? Yes. The quick answer to that is no. I'll probably go elaborate a bit more down the line, but the quick answer to the question is no. I'll give an explanation from my perspective because I'm going through it right now. And the other major one that I've heard or read about is the H-1B visa process. You'll get lesser chances to all of that. please, again, that's a firm answer is no again for all of that process, and that should not be your final. That process should not decide if you are going to start your master's journey right now. So as of now, those two are the major things that I can see which they think are the one. And of course, the courses are there, and of courses that I can take if I start right now in spring semester. Let me assure you for that. Let me give a straight answer right now for that one. There are perfectly courses, and USC has structured such a way that even the spring students who come in can easily take the same course syllabus and graduate with the exact same course structure or the course what you have as fall students. So that should not be any of the concern as of now. So those are three main concerns that I can think are the majority of the chunk of the spring academic concerns now.
Okay. Aisha, for computer science, also, I know Chirag spoke for the ECE department. What about in computer science? Did you find any difficulty in your coursework?
Not at all. I think any course that I wanted, I could take. Any, I think at the end of the day, it's just planning because USC generally, the courses that they offer to you every semester remains consistent, even though it might be taken by a different professor. So it was all about knowing that, okay, if I'm going to take these courses in this semester, then, and these are the other courses that I want to take, then I'm going to take these and just plan it out. And there are so many that I was like, which one do I not take? So I had a different problem.
Yeah, no, a lot of students have that problem. So,
Yeah.
all right. So the next question is for Chirag. Chirag, when you look at the summer, or the first summer that you are there, when you are not allowed to do an internship, what do students do?
Okay. So there are, okay, ma'am. So basically, I'm from EC, so I'll talk in perspective with EC so that those students get in, and I'll talk a bit about general as well, what students do in the first summer, spring students coming. So the first major chunk of people who get into spring admits and the summer is take a course. Basically, specifically in USC, some of the summer courses are really good. I'll take an example. There's something called Digital System Design E560 that we take as computer architecture and so forth. That is one of the most sought out courses from any top companies that you can look for, like Apple or Intel, Qualcomm, any of the hardware companies. They look for that course. Have you taken that course or not? So that is offered only in summer. So that's straight up advantages for you guys, and many people take those courses in summer, and that can be taken only in summer because that is very intensive and hectic coursework. So people take a lot of chunk of people take that particular course in the summer, and the next remaining chunk of people do a part-time job at that time and prepare for your interviews. So they do a lot of preparation because interview is a complete set of ball game as opposed to how prepare for your exams and all of that. Interview is a separate skill set that you need to take, your coding skills, how you talk to interviewers, getting to communicate to a lot of people. So those are the skills that people build over that course of summer and be ready as soon as the internship applications open to put in your an application in the door. So those are the things that people do as of now, and a few chunk of people as well. They want to just relax down because there just one semester has been a huge hectic load. They just fly back to India as well, and they just wind down and just spend some time with the family. So these are the broad three options that you can do, and each of them has its own pros and cons. And I've seen majority chunk of the people taking a course, preparing for their internships. So those are the two major ones that people do usually, and that is fair enough, I think.
Okay. So why is it important that you get that extra time, that extra semester to prepare for, your interviews, your internship interviews and things like that? Why is that considered an advantage among the students like you who kind of discovered that once you were at USC?
Yeah, so I'll tell you why. The main reason is, as I said in my earlier as well, the internship is a different ball game altogether. You'll realize it once you come here. So the main reason is internship. They don't ask you, okay, there's a question, just answer me. There's just one problem, solve this and give to me. That's how exam structure is built around. But interviews are all to, can you think on spot? Can you explain yourself better? Can you give an answer which is that answer, but can you explain it to them and make them understand that? Can you think on spot? Can you design a thing on and tell them how it is? Can you code them online and just tell them what you're trying to give? Can you tell them the approach? Can you solve a problem within a time frame, selected time frame? So all of that requires a lot of practice and a lot of time for you to go through. As opposed to fall students who just have to immediately apply, you get an extra semesters to build your resume. So as opposed, I'll tell you even more. Fall semester students have to, just at the right off the go during the fall semester, they have to apply for the summer internships, because that is during their October, November is when all the internships are open and there are continuous interview callbacks that is going to come in. So you have very little time during your fall semester if you start, very little time to even prepare your resume, as opposed to a spring student who has got about 8 months to, build their resume, build a coursework that they would have taken 2, 3 coursework that is very relevant to your internship experiences. And then they would have built themselves up with, the career services that you have. You would have taken mock interviews. You would have refined your resumes, go through a couple of rounds. You would have met with a lot of, mock interview people. You would have met with a lot of people. So you would have gained those confidence to, talk to people, get those coursework in, build your resume. So you'll be right on the point. Just get a call back and try to convert them into internships. So that extra time, what you get, is really, really beneficial. That's what I think. Yeah.
All right.
I can add to that also, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other advantage is that in your spring semester, you don't have the pressure of getting an internship in the summer. So people have, at least companies come in and they have events on campus where they are looking for internships. So you attend all of these and you realize that this is what you need, or this is what you need to build up on to get calls for internships from these companies. So you have the time to figure out what you need to get, and it's also for you to decide what courses you can take, which might be more advantageous for you for an internship.
Okay, great. So the reason we had this session for students who are, one of the options that they're seriously considering is starting in the fall online, and why we are having a session on the pros and cons for spring semester is because of the F1 visa rule that most of you already know, which is that a student who comes on an F1 visa to the US needs to be a full-time student for 2 full semesters before they are allowed to do an internship, which is off campus. So if you were to come in the fall semester to USC on campus, and then you were a full-time student then, and then you were a full-time student in the spring of 22, when summer came along, you would be doing an internship, and you're allowed to do an internship under the CPT. Now, if you were to start as a fall online student, that semester will not count towards your CPT. And when you join in the spring, you just have that 1 semester before summer comes around, and therefore you don't meet the criteria. So the first summer, you're not allowed to do an internship off campus. So that is the reason why many students hesitate either to come for the spring or even to start in the fall online, because they will become spring start students. And the purpose of this event is to kind of allay those kinds of fears and say, spring start is really not a bad thing. USC has had, spring start semesters for many years now. This is not something that just started because of COVID. It's not something that is happening right now. And a good example is Ayesha right here, who graduated in 2016 and was a spring start, and I think she started in 2014, you said, Ayesha? Yeah. So, so spring start really has been there for a long time. All right, so, that is the policy. So just want to make that clear. So let's move on to what your internship experiences were. Aisha, what did you do for an internship when you came to USC?
So when I came to USC, so for the internships, I participated in the career fair that you would have every semester. And then USC also has a careers portal. So my internship was actually through the career portal. So I applied for it and then I got through. And in the summer, I interned at a financial company called Aries Management. And from that summer, I could continue for my OPT, sorry, my CPT was with them as well. So my fall semester, I could intern with them for a credit. And then, and when I was graduating, I had a job with them as well. So it felt like it was a very smooth process for me. But the internships, the interviews, it's very different from what it is like in India. So internships in India is you have companies coming to your campus and they give you an interview. Here you have to go out and apply to a company. So it was a different, and it was difficult also because there are so many people who are applying with you. So a lot more competition, but a lot smoother once you get through it, I think.
Okay. So Chirag, you're still a current student at USC. So how has your internship journey been? And you're just starting your internship right now.
Yes, yes, ma'am,
How
that's
is the
correct.
search?
Oh, the search, like any other job for any person, is a tough process, right? So you will slog, you will have rejections, you will have those acceptances as well. So it's definitely an involved process. So you will go through, you will put hundreds of applications, you will make sure you will have different iterations of resumes and all of that stuff. So that is one of the main reasons I feel you need a lot extra time to prepare yourself to put in those resumes and be prepared when you get those callbacks. So yes, I also applied through, like how Aisha said, through Career Connections, and Vitaby has the own career fair that comes in, and many of the, I'll speak in perspective of hardware because I'm most focused in that. So many of the Apple, Nvidia, all of those big companies come on campus and they have their own event organized. So those are the very good opportunities because for us, interviews happen straight up. So you just go to them, talk to them. If they like your resume, they'll immediately turn their resume around and just ask straight asking questions right to you. So those are the ways that, and if you're on spot and ready, they just pick you up, you have a couple of rounds and that's it. You get an internship right offer after for your summer and you're done. So those are the very access points that USC provides or the Vitaby School of Engineering provides to a master's student. And in order to be prepared for that, you would need some amount of time, I feel personally, to even come back. And the huge advantage I feel with respect to, starting from spring admit is the summer and the last semester falls right one after another. So there's something called co-op where you can do an internship while you're admitted to college. Like how in summer, I'm not doing any course right now. So I can do a complete 40 hours a week at a company. But USC provides an opportunity for us to do a semester as well called co-op, where I can do a complete full-time at a company, but I can still be enrolled and do a 4 credits or less course, a part-time course at USC. So that falls right one next to each other, and the companies look for that slot because they want companies to students who start from the summer and be till the December, like 8, 9 months, work with them and convert them into full time. So that is a very advantageous chunk that usually all the companies look for. So that is very, very advantageous for you to convert an internship to a co-op to a full time, like how Aisha did. So that's a very, very advantageous position, and the fall students lack that because after summer they have a whole semester they have to complete, and only then they can apply for a co-op and then apply for a full time or convert that to full time. So that way you're very advantageous and you sit in a very sweet spot where you can work for a company. You can work for a company completely, or you can work for two different companies, like how I am doing right now. So it depends on what you want to achieve, and it's very easier, a slightly easier process when you have that advantage what the company is looking for when they want you to work for that and you have that advantage to provide. So that way I feel you sit in that sweet spot and you're ready to take that internship if they offer you.
Okay. So so where are you going to do your internship, and what kind of internship offers did you get?
Okay. Right now I'm at Apple, so I'm in the Silicon Engineering group at Apple right now, pursuing in the VLSI domain. So that is my summer internship. I'll be pursuing my fall internship at Nvidia. So at Nvidia, I'll be working on the GPU Silicon Engineering side of their division. So I am there. These are the two internships that I've chosen. out of the internships that I've got, I applied to all the pretty much any company that I can see online. The application goes in. That's the numbers game that any student plays. So yes, I applied for all Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, all of the big ones, and fortunately, I got into all of those. So that is the preparation that the spring. I really think that hardware students should start from spring, because that is the preparation that you get, time you get, and the courses that you get. So I got into Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, all of those into multiple roles as well. So among all of those, I chose Apple and Nvidia as my internship in summer and Qualcomm.
Well, congratulations, Chirag. I
Thank
mean,
you. Thank you, ma'am.
that's very impressive, and also you made this happen in the COVID times, right?
Yes, it's correct. That's absolutely correct, ma'am. COVID time, I don't know, it's been a boon or a bane, but it's certainly worked out for me, I guess. So that way, if you think about it, yes, the jobs. They said the jobs all were reduced down and the unemployment rate was skyrocketing and all of that. There was a lot of concerns, but unfortunately, that was not the case for the hardware industry at all, because they were continuously hiring. Because hardware companies and software companies, they look for future. They don't look for immediate per se role to work in. They look for you as an investment into the future role. So they knew 1-2 years, couple of years down the line, things will open out and there will be a lot of things coming out. So keeping that in mind, there was no reduction in terms of the applications that you get or the applications that you can put in or the interview callbacks that you can. I'm a prime example, right? Because I got pretty much callback from all the good companies, and we were able to. I was able to convert them with respect to the coursework and the preparation that we put in. So that way, there was no COVID didn't hit me. I can probably say that, but of course, it made it that much harder because companies all the events were online. So what we had it on campus, we had to meet them online. We had to speak to them one-on-one, and it's a bit tough to just talk straight at a computer and just talk. So it gets a bit of used to get yourself prepared to such situations and all of that. So that is the mental preparation that you try to go about. And yeah, having said that, but there's no reduction in jobs or something like that. That hardware companies don't worry about all of that. So you shouldn't be worried about it. Yeah.
How, Chirag, what was the rest of your batch? How are they doing in terms of internships?
Oh, as far as I know, everyone has got an internship. There is no person that I know, at least in the circles that I know of, at least those people, and again, they're all in the good company. I'll take an example from, because I know USC conducts these groups, if it was on campus, USC conducts this at particular cities. And I had formed a group back in Bangalore, where all of my Bangalore mates were there, and before we were all ready to go and get into USC masters and pursue a master's career here. So the whole batch that I can think of, all are in great companies. Some are very good at Amazon. They're at Microsoft. They're at Snap. They're at Netflix. They're at Apple. So there are a lot of you can think of any good companies, any great companies that are out there. And all of our batchmates, and specifically the spring and in terms of CS and in terms of ECE, all of them have got really good internships. So your spring or your intake will not define what internship you get into. It's all about how prepared you are and how you get those callbacks and convert those callbacks is what it matters. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Chirag. No, that's great to know, because I know that most of the students have heard that starting in the spring is not a great idea. And this certainly may be true in many other universities. USC definitely makes sure that your coursework is available to you, whether you start in the spring or the fall. And we also we are very, very vested in your success. So we want to make sure that we help you reach your goals. We don't guarantee that you will get an internship. We do not guarantee that you will get a job, but we certainly provide a lot of resources to our students to make sure that they are very well prepared. We are one of the very, very few universities which has 2 career centers. One is for the School of Engineering, and one is for the rest of the university. So the School of Engineering Career Center is not a small unit, right? It has about more than 10 staff members, and they are very active doing a lot of events throughout the year, helping students meet, network with companies, helping them prepare. So there are a lot of resources that will be coming your way when you come to USC. So for many of you who are grappling with this entire situation where, you know, there is, you're worried that you won't be able to join in the fall 21 as an on-campus student. If you ask for a deferral, we call it an update to the spring semester, then we are not guaranteeing that you will get it. And the same thing for the fall of 22 as well. Don't hesitate to start online and then because you're worried about a spring start. Really, it is not that much of a problem as these students have mentioned. Okay, so the next question I am going to ask is, how many career fairs happen in the spring semester? Aisha, you want to answer that?
So typically there's one career fair that happens in every semester. So yeah, there was one as far as I remember.
Okay, and Chirag, since everything is fresh in your mind, you can tell us what happens in the spring or each semester.
Yeah. So basically, typically over the year, Viterbi provides two main careers fairs, ma'am. One is during your spring semester at the start, January and February, around and one around October. Early October is when the two main career fairs happen, where all the companies come in. Apart from that, USC conducts their own career fair as well. So in each semester, USC has their own career fair. So in each semester, per se, if you think about it, there's one USC's and then there's one Viterbi's that career fairs that happen. Those are the main actual events. But apart from that, throughout the entire, the job hunt period. So during that time, you will have all these something called Trojan Talks, where the companies come to the campus and speak and tell them about the roles that are available, that what their company does, what is present of that, and they explain themselves. They come and explain themselves, and they'll be like, "Come, please apply to our company." So those are the things. Apple does it, Nvidia does it. All the major software company does it. So all of those people come, one of the representatives or the group or their entire group comes around and tells them what are the jobs that you can apply for, what is the internship positions that they're looking for. They come and advertise themselves as a Trojan Talk. So that is one another thing that USC or the Viterbi provides that is hugely beneficial, because you get to interact live with the company people right away and get your doubts clarified, get what they're looking for. So those are very essential. So those are some of the events that USC does and Viterbi does for you for in each and every semester. And of course, you have your career services where they give you a lot of mock interviews, where actual company people come, but they're not taking an interview. But like how me and Sudham are sitting right now, suppose Sudham is asking me an interview questions, it'll be a legit interview question, but it'll just be for you to get confidence to talk to you and, get your confidence built up. So these are mock interviews and resume preparation softwares and all of that career services gives and throughout those things. But major career fairs happen, those two in every semester.
Fantastic. Now I'm hearing a lot about jobs and internships and all of that. When do you guys study? When do you do your coursework?
That's a good question, ma'am. It's throughout the clock. There's no stopping around. So once your master's, you get into USC, you have your clock turned on 24 hours. So you study, you do your internship search, you do your part-time jobs, you do a house chores, you cook, you roam around with your friends, you do all of this within those 24 hours. So that is how hectic, or that's how the journey is. So that is where you learn everything in your life, right? So you learn, you try to become an adult in this if you have to just put it in a sentence. So you do it day in and day out. It's a Sunday, Monday, 2:00 in the night, 2:00 in the day. You don't care about it. You just have to finish the task and move on to the next task. So that's pretty much master's life, what you think, and you need to be mentally prepared as well for that.
Okay. Aisha, how about you? I mean, you talked about this very extended work, then it went on to a co-op, and finally you graduated. How did you manage your coursework?
So for me, I think I made it very easy for myself. I mean, not as now looking back, I felt it was easy because by the end of summer, I just had 2 credits remaining, which I kept for an internship and a co-op. So I was done with all my coursework by in the first 3 semesters. So for me, when I was doing an internship, when I was doing my co-op, I did not have any coursework to take. And that was also by choice and by design because I wanted that buffer time to sit and study for interviews and to like apply and give interviews. And that's what I did.
Okay, fantastic. So Chirag, you're planning to do 2 internships, and at some point you're going to start your job search as well.
Yes.
Will starting late during, you're starting in a spring semester, would that affect your OPT chances in any way? That was one of the concerns that the audience had.
Okay. OPT in such a way, no, ma'am. So there's the OPT is
Just a second. OPT, for those of you, I think most of you already know, all of you are so well researched, but OPT is optional practical training, and that is when you start working after you graduate. Okay, go ahead.
yes. So as you said, yes, OPT. As far as the straight up answer to the OPT question is no, because OPT starts whenever you start irrelevant. The start is irrelevant. You start at fall for your once you graduate in fall and you start off. So that the OPT starts from that period. But if you start from December, if you graduate in December, start from January, your OPT starts from there. The major concern I think people are having right now is related to H1B. I think we'll have a discussion on that particularly separately. But as far as OPT concerned, there's absolutely nothing. If you have a job offer letter, or even if you don't have one, as soon as you graduate, you can request for an OPT and you can straight up. So OPT is not at all a concern at all.
Okay. So I've seen some questions in the chat about if you start late in the fall of 21. So supposing the visa situation improves, consulates open up, the number of COVID cases go down in India, and you get a visa to come to the US, but you're not able to get there at the start of the semester, and you get there in mid-semester is when you're able to come. Now, there are certain restrictions. USC is going to let you know till when you will be allowed to come and join the semester, and that will happen over the next 2 weeks. But as of now, September 10th is the last date. That is the add drop date is around then. That is the time that you will be allowed to come and join as a full-time student in case things improve with your visa situation. And if you arrive up till September 10th, then it will count towards your CPT. If you come any later than that, it will not count towards CPT. Okay. The second question I always get from students is, during the summer when we are taking classes, can that count towards a semester? And unfortunately, that does not count towards a semester. So if you were to start in the fall online, you would take a class, a 1 or 2. In fact, I would recommend only 1. Then that way your admit is guaranteed, and then you would come in the spring and you would continue your journey. Since you already have taken 1 class online, you can focus a lot more on your internship opportunities and preparing for your interviews along with the coursework. And then you go the entire journey of a student at USC Viterbi starting from spring online on campus. So that is what I would recommend to all of you. All right, so now I am going to actually share, we have a PPT that we prepared, kind of just going over your enrollment options that we have for you. Now, this is for the students who have been given the option to either come take online or come on campus for fall 21. Okay, so let me change the settings. Okay. So the options before the audience today is to join as a on-campus student, and or you can enroll in 1 or 2 classes online from India, or you can update your application for spring or fall of 22. And if you do that, there are no guarantees that we will give you an admission in the spring or the fall of 22. This, for many of you, may not sound fair, but we have also been grappling with a lot of issues, and this is the best offer that we can give you guys, and it's not going to change. I know many of you are writing to us, but we are not going to be able to do that. So what's happening at USC? The university is opening up. Labs are opening up. In the summer, we are mostly going to have an in-person summer. And for the fall also, we are expecting that the classes will primarily be in person. So what you will have to do is submit your financial documentation and your passport copy, because you will need a new I-20 for the spring of 22 when you come. When you are taking a class online, you do not need to get a visa at all. So this will be for the spring, and since it's a different semester, you do need a new I-20. You will have to submit your statement of intent and the $500 commitment deposit. Many of you have been asking about what the vaccination policy is, because many of you are worried that in case you are able to join us in person in the fall of 21 and you don't get a vaccine in India, what's going to happen? We do have vaccinations available at USC, and if it's required, you can get vaccinated on our campus, but we would recommend you to read the vaccination FAQ that's given over here. There's the reference over here. If you want to take a screenshot, you should do that. All right, so if you were enrolling online, we have a website where the courses that are available online are updated over there. I think over the next few weeks, there will be a lot more courses that will be added. Generally, I think I've been seeing a lot of questions from students with specializations, AI, embedded systems, and so on, where they say that they don't have the coursework available to them. Generally, the way it works for all specializations is students will take certain general courses the first semester. This is all CS students, for example, will take about 4 different, they'll have to choose between 4 different required courses. And the same thing, I think, for the ECE students as well. So I'm fairly sure that the required courses for CS, a degree of any type, or the ECE degree of any type will be available at this URL. If it's not, I think you can talk to your academic advisor within your department. Submit your financial documentation and a passport copy. Please ensure that your name is exactly the way it is in your passport. In your I-20, they have to be exactly the same. We've noticed that several students made the mistake of giving us the wrong city of birth this year. So we've had to correct that. So just be aware that if your city of birth is given in your application, and that is what will get onto your I-20. So make sure that you did give us the correct information when you submitted your application. Submit your statement of intent and the $500 commitment deposit. So enrolling online means that your CPT status will be activated only in the spring of 23. Okay. So if you choose, you can update your application for the spring of 22. So when you request for that, many of you ask us if you can defer. We don't use the word defer, but if you update your application, what happens is we'll put it back in queue to be considered along with the pool of applications that we have for that semester. So we are not guaranteeing admission at this time. We have students who've been deferring, and earlier because of the situation, we did allow students to postpone when they would come, but we are not able to be as flexible any longer. So unfortunately, this will be a disappointing for many of you, but that is the way the situation is. So if you want to update your form for the fall of 22, you can also do that. Now, we really would request that none of you rush and make a decision right away. Please take your time. The update form will only be available in June 1 onwards of 21. So take your time, make sure that this is the right option for you before you submit it. If you, like I said earlier, if you were to join in the fall as an online student, you will be considered the same as an on-campus student. All you need to do is notify us that you received a visa and that you would be able to come. At this point, the very latest date that you can arrive is September 10th, but there is some conversation happening at USC where we are trying to get that date pushed back, but we will know definitively only in a couple of weeks from now. Okay, and here are some of the frequently asked questions. Can I take the first semester online and then decide if I want to? Yes, you can do that. But you need to do so by September 10th, which is the add drop date. And then if you still want to be considered by USC for the spring and you want to update your form to spring 22, then you need to let us know by September 15th of 21. Will I need a visa if I'm taking the first semester online? No, you do not require a visa for online classes in your home country. You will need a visa for the updated term, whichever you start. Will I need a new I-20 if I update my term? Yes, you will require the information in your I-20 about the start date needs to be exactly the same. So you will need a new I-20. So what is the last date? This is again something I've mentioned before. Right now it is September 10th, but we are hopeful that this will be changed to something a little bit later. We hope to let you know in the next couple of weeks, but that is, but if you come anywhere, if you even, let's say we let you come till September 30th, then unless something really changes with the SEVIS system, it will not count towards a CPT semester. Right now, the rule is only till 10th September. If you were to arrive by 10th September, it'll count towards your CPT. And if your visa arrived and allowed you to come a little bit later, then maybe we will allow you. It's possible, but it's also possible that it will not count towards your CPT. So when you get the information about the final date that you can get to USC, we will make sure that we will clarify what the rule on this is, right? So I've come to the end of this presentation. So I will go back to the okay. So we will take a look at the questions that are there right now. Divangna, can you share the journeys of those two other students that we put up on the website?
Yes, I'll just do that.
Yeah. Okay. Divangna, if you see any questions that we did not address so far, maybe you can ask those.
Yeah, so I think mostly students are asking that they are online and they arrive on campus in the spring. What is their program end date going to be?
Right. So, so you need to finish 28 units. You need to know how many units are there in your program. And, you know, it depends on you. The first summer, you know, you will have 2 sessions of summer. Instead of taking 1 class, if you want, you can take 2 classes, 1 in the session 1 and 1 in session 2. So it depends. If you take classes during the summer, then you should be able to finish within the 3 semesters. If not, it'll be 2 of 4 semesters. But there are some of you who are in programs which have like 37 units. So I think for those, if you take classes during the summer as well, you should be able to finish within the 2 years.
Right, and I think someone is asking, does the option to update the application to spring hold for students who have already updated from fall 2020 to fall 2021?
So this option is to anyone who received this email. So the admissions team came up with this list, and you obviously have been on that list. So that is the option available to you. It is, you just have to look at the letter that you received from our admissions team.
And also someone's asking that if they complete fall 21 online and then join in spring 2022, then will their internship in summer 23 will be counted as an OPT or a CPT?
Okay, maybe Chirag, you can take that question.
Sorry, I was answering the questions on chat. Sorry, can you repeat those questions, please? I'm sorry about that.
That's
yeah,
okay.
so someone is asking if they join that first semester online, which is going to be fall 21, and they join on campus in spring 2022, then if they do the internship in in summer 23, is that counted towards CPT or OPT?
Okay, so that depends on if you're enrolled. So CPT, OPT depends on if you're enrolled to college or not. So if you're still enrolled into college, it'll be a CPT. So if you still have, say, a coursework to finish, or if you plan to take 1 more credit or something like that, if you're still enrolled into the college, then it'll be considered as a CPT. But if you plan to graduate, and if you do an internship, or if you work outside the campus, then it will be under an OPT. So that's how the distinction works.
Right. So if the number of units for your program, if you finish those, then it'll count towards OPT. If not, it'll be a CPT. And the semester that you did the course online does not count.
So I think the next question either Chirag or Aisha can answer is about whether housing is more difficult if you're a spring student, finding housing.
Okay, maybe both can answer this question because Aisha, you want to go first?
Sure. So as a spring admit, for me, I use the Facebook groups that USC students use to post that they have a spot open or they have an entire apartment that they're renting out. Because usually the lease starts, I think, in August for almost all off-campus accommodations. So anybody who's graduating in December would put up a post saying, we're graduating, we're subleasing, so you can take a spot. And like you contact them and then you sign a lease and it's done. So it was easy that way. And it was also easier because people would leave things behind. So you were not doing a lot of setup on your own. So Yeah, and some people also start leases. It all just depends on what you find.
Was it very difficult? Was it
Not
difficult?
at all. Not at all. So you just message people and it goes pretty quick. So the faster you message, the easier it is for you to get a place. And you can also contact the leasing companies because I think USC gives you a list of all the leasing companies that are around campus. So you can just like contact them and then they'll show you a place. The only difficult part is you are signing a lease for a place you haven't seen, which at this point, like it's the same experience for a fall student or for a spring student. So it's yeah.
Chirag, you want to add to that?
I'll give you like a present scenario right now, how it is right now in LA right now. Albeit I'm not in LA per se, but I was still a couple of weeks back. So I'll give you how the current situation is right now. Because due to COVID situation, a lot of the houses, a lot of people have moved out of UC area as such. So there are a lot of leasing opportunities. So if you just ask out, and they are at reduced price because they want people to get into those things. So it is definitely easier as of now to get a complete full lease if you're looking for that. But apart from that, if you want someone trust based, you know people, someone there. So as Aisha mentioned, that is an easier process where you just how it was WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups. So you will be put into those groups and people post an ad saying that they're looking for a sublease, they are moving out and they want for someone to take over the lease. So you can just contact them, have a video tour. If you like it, exchange information and then contact the lease landlord and get it approved. So that's a straightforward process. So yes, as of now, it is not such a difficult or hassle to find a housing as well because there's plenty of houses available in and around USC area right now. So you should be able to get one. And but yes, as Aisha said, it goes off very soon. So please be on your foot and try to get one and try to get the process started. And it'll give you a mental peace as well. So just get that sorted. Yeah.
We also have questions about scores if students were to update. So
Yes.
if their scores aren't valid, then what should they do?
So for those of you when we waived GRE when you applied, that waiver will continue to hold. So if you choose to update to a later semester, then we will continue to waive the GRE and I believe the TOEFL or the IELTS as well. But I haven't heard definitively from the admissions team about the TOEFL or the IELTS, but I have heard about GRE and I expect it'll be the same policy for both. So you do not need to go ahead and retake the GRE or take the GRE if you haven't already done so.
I think that's mostly the gist of the questions.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then I think if we've answered all the questions on the chat site, we can come to our concluding messages. And Aisha, how was your experience overall at USC? What was some of the things that you really cherished? One of the funnest incidents that you had at USC that you really remember? Anything you want to talk about as your concluding messages?
Sure, ma'am. So I think looking back, USC, at least for me, I have had a lot of fond memories from USC, and most of it was, I think, some of the memories you have are like sitting in the library and finishing assignments till like 5 in the morning because you have to submit it. And then I also used to have an on-campus job at 7 in the morning. So going without no sleep and like doing all of this, like now when I look back at it, I cherish it because that time has not come back again after that. And it's also a lot of time that I have spent with my friends when I was at USC. So whoever I was friends with then, we have continued to be friends and we still continue to like meet up and we're close. I think it's a network that you form and everyone you meet, you're in touch with in one way or the other. And it was also, in terms of coursework, it was very different for me to come to USC, and because the education system is very different from what we have been experienced with in India. So it was nice to experience in your system and like do assignments and just the entire thing. And also about, I think, coming out of home and learning to be by yourself has been the one of the biggest advantages, or I think I would say that everyone should do it at least once in their lifetime.
Okay,
So yeah,
thank you
it's
so much.
a lot of
Aisha, we're very fortunate that we have alums like you who are willing to spare time and help the incoming students. I think that's great. And I know that, you know, a lot of our alums are very supportive, and USC is reputed to have one of the strongest alumni networks in the world. I think our alums will actually attest to something like that. Chirag, what are your concluding statements?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, as just to echo what Aisha just said, it's going to be a wonderful ride, guys. So do choose whatever the decisions that you take, whether it's spring or fall, or if you continue to take online, whatever it is, you're gonna be in for a ride. It's gonna be a hell of a ride, but it's gonna be a beautiful ride. You will gonna love it. You're gonna be hating it many times. Why did you choose it? But stick through it, pursue through it. You will be victorious at the end. So just go by your gut. Just see what you want. Just see, plan your work out. Plan yourself mentally. Plan yourself to live alone. Do those tasks alone. So plan yourself mentally and be. You will love the USC journey. What you have. My journey was beautiful. I had a really good times. Like how Aisha said, I formed relationships that will last for a lifetime. You will form such relationships here. Beautiful friendships. You will find a lot of things at USC, and the campus is beautiful. So that is another huge plus point. So make sure hopefully you guys get to see the campus, attend events on campus and stuff. So it's going to be a beautiful journey. So please do prepare for yourself, and please do take advantage of all the services that USC has to offer. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Chirag. And good luck with your internship and internships, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Divana, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, I just want to tell everyone that I know that right now you're confused between the options to take. If I can give some personal advice on that, is because the situation looks really up in the air right now, would be to go for the first semester online and still try to get your emergency visas if you can, and reach by September 10th. I think that should be that is the easiest option for everyone. And if not, if you're confident to update your term to spring, like Chirag and like Aisha said, there are a lot of benefits to that as well. So think about it. The options are open to you, and you can feel free to connect with me or Sudha anytime if you have any other questions. But please do go through all of the emails that are sent to you, and please go through all of your enrollment options and deadlines, and then come back to us. And best of luck to everyone.
I know. I hope all of you stay healthy, and you and your families, and think carefully about what option you will choose. We have given you don't need to rush on it. Take your time, think about it carefully, do some research, talk to other students currently on campus, and with the alumni that you know. And if you were to come to USC, which we hope that you will choose to come, whether it's in the fall semester or the spring semester, I can assure you that we will be working very hard to make sure that, that you have a very successful stay at USC and a wonderful career at the end. So good luck to all of you. I really hope that the COVID cases come down, that the consulates will open up, that all of you are on the campus. We are all, I think all the faculty, all the staff are missing having the students on campus. So we really hope it works out that way. But if not, I think the online option is very good. I just remembered one question from yesterday that maybe the two panelists here can weigh in on. So many of the students who are currently waiting to join are actually working professionals. So one question that they have in their mind, if they have to take the online option, how much time does one class take for you? So can they continue working while they are in India and still do well in the course? Chirag, you want to go first?
Yes, so that depends mostly on the course that they're choosing. So yes, there are few lighter courses that they can choose. So they can work either way. So what you can do is maybe take a course which is lighter. So take a course which they can do along some requires 10 hours a week or 15 hours a week or worth of effort that you need to put in. That's a lot of time that you need to take out of your regular 8 to 8 hour job that you have. So those are very hectic courses. But apart from that, there are light courses where you can take and finish those courses because they do add to your requirement, and there are certain subjects which are light on courses. Of course, all of your master's courses are hectic and it takes a lot of thing out of you. But still, those there are light courses which are very not that intensive. So you can, if you choose to take online, and if you're a working professional, you can probably take one semester. I wouldn't recommend taking two subjects because that will be a huge coursework load that you'll have. You'll be practically enrolled full times in both the places, and that is not something I would advise. But definitely you can take one coursework of 4 credits or 3 credits, where you can that is not course intensive, and you can go ahead and take that. You will be able to do well and perform well in your company as well. So that is definitely a possible, because I am doing it in my fall semester, right? So during my co-op semester, I will be enrolled full-time at a company, but I will be taking a subject as well at USC. So that way, if you think about it, you can do online course at India as well, and do professionally and work professionally as well. So that shouldn't be a problem if you take one course.
Okay.
Sorry, Chirag and Ayesha, there's a lot of people asking if they can reach out to you via LinkedIn.
Sure. Yeah, they
Sure,
can.
that's not a problem at all. They can reach me out on LinkedIn, no problem. Maybe it'd be a bit, if they ask questions, there will be a bit delay or something in responding because I'll be busy with my internships and all of that stuff. But eventually, I'll probably get back to this. So they can definitely.
Yeah, there's about 250 people on this on the attendee list. So please, guys, be kind and wait for these guys to respond.
All right. So I think that was a wonderful panel. I thank you so much, Ayesha, and thank you, Chirag. I think both of you were articulate, frank, and gave the audience a very, very good good overview of what they can expect when they start at USC. So thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck with your jobs and your internships. And thank you, Divangna. This was great. Thank you to the audience. I hope that you had a lot of information coming your way over these last two panels. If you enjoyed this and if you found it helpful, leave us some thumbs up in the chat site so we know that this is something that we should keep doing. Thank you again. Good night to the ones in India, and have a wonderful day to the ones in Seattle. Both of you are in Seattle, so have a great time over there. I'm not seeing any thumbs up, so I guess, or are we?
People are saying thank you to everyone in the box.
So yeah, that's wonderful. I was beginning to be concerned. So wonderful. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ayesha.
Yeah.
So much, man. Thank you so much for providing
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All
Glad
right.
to be of help. Yeah.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.